best Cuban Missile Crisis monster movie ever. So I'm really excited for all of you guys to see it, and also to introduce the director, Joe Dante.
Well, this is more people than saw it when it came out. I'm saying about almost every picture I've ever made. Matinee started out as a considerably different kind of movie than it turned out to be. It was a script by a guy named Jericho Stone, and it was much more of a fantasy that took place in a movie theater. And it was a lovely script, and it was something I really wanted to make. And we tried, Mike Fennell, my partner, and I tried to get this thing made at Universal for, not Universal, at Warner Brothers, for quite a while. And we spent a lot of development money, and eventually they just decided it was, who's going to go to this, you know? So we brought in Charlie Haas, who had written Gremlins 2, and he spun a slightly different version of that movie. We set it in the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 in Key West. And I was about the age of the lead kid in this movie in 1962. And for those of you who weren't there, it was the weekend that we all thought the world was going to end, which is one of the reasons we have this double bill, because it's basically an end of the world double bill. And you know, end of the world doesn't sell too good, but we made the picture in Florida. We ended up making it for Universal when the original money people, who said they had money, kept defaulting. Every Tuesday we would want to pay people, and they'd go, well, you know, we don't have the money quite yet, we're going to have it next week. Why don't you just get Universal to pay for it because they're distributing it? So Universal kept paying every week for all this stuff, and they were supposed to get reimbursed. And then the company sort of admitted that they didn't have any money at all. We went to the guys at Universal, and mainly Tom Pollock, and we sort of begged them. We said, look, you guys have spent a certain amount of money up to now to make the picture, and you know, why don't you just sort of bite the bullet and make the rest of it? And they went out of the room for a while, and they came back, and I think Tom Pollock said, passion has won out over logic. So we're going to go ahead and fund the movie, which wasn't a really expensive movie, but nonetheless, they hadn't expected to pay for the whole thing. It was supposed to just distribute it. But the good side of this for me was that I got access to a lot of the music from old 50s science fiction movies. And since part of the plot is that this pseudo Castle-like character comes to Key West to premiere his new monster movie, and it happens to be on the weekend of the Cuban Missile Crisis. So there's a lot of stuff about, you know, movies and fear and what's real and what's not real and all that stuff. But it worked out great for me, and it didn't work out so good for Universal because they opened the picture very wide, and it's not really kind of a wide movie. It was supposed to be sort of a, you know, let it build in the theater and let people talk about it, but it just played it. But what was interesting was, even though the houses were half empty, when I would go, I would see older people bringing their kids to the movie to show what it was like when they went to the movies, you know, back when there used to be single screen theaters and double features and all the things that are gone. And so there's a lot of nostalgia in this picture for an era that we are never going to see again. And there is a film within the film, which is called Mant. And it's supposed to be as silly as the movies that we love were, but the question was how silly should it be? And I chose to make it a little better technically than a lot of the movies were, because when I was a kid and I went to see movies like Tarantula and stuff, I believed it. I wanted to believe it was a monster, spider was 15 feet tall. And so we said, well, let's do effects that are, you know, fairly good, so that it seems, so the kids in the movie don't seem dumb for believing it. Anyway, it's a movie that I really like, that I made, and you know, it had a DVD release many years ago. It's one of the very first DVDs to come out, and it's since out of print for that many years. And I keep every so often I call Universal and say, hey, what do you think? Do you want to put it out? And they go, no. So they're just not very interested in it. And it stars John Goodman and Kathy Moriarty, who are great. And there's a wonderful supporting cast. There's some terrific kids in it, and one of the lead kids, Simon Fenton, who plays the to whom all this happened, is actually British. And I swear you really can't tell. I mean, it was remarkable, the job he did. And he eventually went on to do a lot of television in Britain. Anyway, and after this movie, there'll be a 10-minute break. And we'll bring Steve DeJohn down and we'll talk about Miracle-Mile, which is a remarkable film that not enough people have seen, which is why it's here. And then after Miracle-Mile, for those hardy souls who stay for both pictures, and this is sort of a little blackmail thing on my part, we have the 25 minutes of Mand.
Oh!
We didn't use that. We sort of just put together everything that we had shot, and it was interesting. When the picture came out, some guy from Europe came up to me and said, you know, if you want to shoot another 40 minutes of this thing, you could put this out as a feature. And I tried to explain to him that what works for 25 minutes doesn't really work for an hour and a half.